Welcome back to the Video Marketing Conversation. Today we're going to continue our conversation with Mr. John Reed, who's a marketing innovator. And so John, when we left, we were just talking about the importance of having this consistent message and the importance of having consistent messaging throughout all the different customer touch points. So before you give us some how-tos, what are some of those customer touch points that people need to be thinking about?
Sure. It's every place that someone asks you, whether they're saying it or it's in the back of their mind, what do you do? So if they encounter you in a sales conversation, if they go and look on your website, if they're reading an email that's come from somebody else in your office or something through customer service, all of the things that are happening around social media right now, a poster they see, there are a lot of new channels in marketing right now, a lot of new ways to reach out and touch customers. And we're saying it's great to have all these opportunities, all these touch points, but is there, again, a single consistent message that's going through all those channels? So every time I hear from you, I'm always hearing the same thing.
And obviously the reason that I wanted to have you on is because we're one of those touch points when we use video. So I think it's important that people think about this. This really becomes the filter for all of their messaging.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some of the things that help them drill down into getting this message?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when we work with a client, a simple process, not an easy process, but it's a simple process. We kind of walk through this funnel of what we call drilling down to the differentiators. And we're looking for the things that, like we talked about last time, really are you, but are also things that distinguish you from a lot of your competitors out there. So we'll start, and I would say, if I were doing this on my own, I would start with some sort of an executive strategy session. Get the key executives in the company around the table, and let's walk through, who are we? What are we good at? What are we bad at? What kind of things come out in sales conversations? When I'm talking to a potential customer, when does the light bulb go off for them? What questions do I always get from them? If I were a competitor, how would I sell against myself? And you just get all of that out on the table and say, okay, here are all the issues about who we are, what we do, what we're good at, what we're bad at. The messaging is going to be somewhere in here, but we don't know yet. At least we've got everything out on the table. So we'll start there and then drill down a little further by looking at a competitive analysis. And to do that, you say, okay, let me look at all my competitors. Let's pick some who are direct competitors, some who may not be direct competitors, but they're doing interesting things in this space, and I want to see what they're saying. And look not at what are their services or what's their market share, but look at their messaging. How do they talk about what they do? What kind of words do they use? How do they describe themselves? Usually what comes out of that exercise is, gosh, everybody's saying the same thing. And then you look at your own message and you go, and we're saying the same thing everybody else is.
So where's the differentiator?
So where's the differentiator?
Yeah.
So, you've gone through this strategy session to get all the issues on the table. Then you've looked at the market and said, here's what people are talking about, and it's probably the same thing we're talking about. And then you want to go and do some one-on-one stakeholder interviews with your own employees and with your customers. To ask some of the same kind of questions that you looked at as an executive team, but you're looking for these insights around what does make us unique, what are people excited about, what resonates internally. You want to know if different members of your organization are seeing the company differently or not, and you take those, and as you begin to kind of dig through all of this information, all these insights that people have, what comes out is, gosh, we're really good at this. And all these other things that we talk about, they're important, but this is who we really are. And you take that one kind of golden nugget and start to work with that and shape that and say, if this is what makes us special or different or unique, more valuable, now that we've identified that, how do we put it into words?
Which is the hard part.
Which is the hard part, especially if what you identify is something like great customer service. Well, who doesn't have great customer service? Everybody
doesn't
talks
want
about
to?
that.
Yeah.
Everybody says they've got it.
Right.
So if that's your differentiator, then you've got to find a different way to talk about it. And you've got to come up with reasons to believe that will make the customer, the prospect, go, oh, I get it. When vLink talks about customer service, they really mean something that's different from everybody else around customer service.
So it sounds like to me that it is not necessarily a long process, but just a critically important process that you go through, or that you recommend people go through, to kind of get all the pieces and all the words and all the thoughts out.
Yep.
And just by watching and looking at that, things begin to percolate up that make the most sense. Is that?
It's a discovery process. You're not trying to create something that isn't there. you're trying to dig down and find something that is there. And you have to shuffle through a lot of information to get to that core message. But when you're down there, usually it's staring in your face. And the experience that we get from clients is the thing they almost always say is, that's who we are. That's what we've always been trying to say. We just never could quite identify it and put it into words. And that process helps you identify it. The putting into words part, that's kind of creative serendipity stuff that you may need help from a professional writer or someone like that to work on it for you. But that's where the real value is.
John, I want to thank you so much, and I look forward to having future conversations with you on camera and off.
Thanks.
But thank you so much for your time. Hopefully this was valuable to you. And please be sure to contact us if you'd like to incorporate your message into video. But if you'd like to be able to refine your message a little bit better, I'm sure that you'll be able to find John's information at the bottom of the screen. And reach out to them. They're really good at what they do. Thank you for tuning in.